Subscribe to the Mystic Vibrations Shock of the Hour program today and never miss another episode. The Shock of the Hour is a Radio Anu exclusive program produced every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. By now, I am sure that you are aware that all our programs are packed with information, inspiration, mystic vibrations, as well as hot button topics. Every evening we enter into a different dimension, even if it is a part 2 of the previous program, whether it's history or mystery, biology or philosophy, domestic affairs or the locks of your hair. The mystic vibration is sure to bring something new and interesting to the table every evening. So never miss another episode again. Subscribe to the Shock of the Hour now. And don't forget your key Swahili word of the day and your daily scientific fact. So, to subscribe, give us an email, priestisaac27@gmail.com, or call or WhatsApp us today. Area code 1268-728-3162. The Shock of the Hour. Never miss another program. And a special note to all our new subscribers. All our new subscribers will receive a special copy of the DVD documentary, full length, The Night of the Black Tiger, The Divinity of Marcus Messiah. John Hoy, life giver and keeper of life. Blessed love to everyone. Give thanks. What a wonderful, wonderful day it is. As I said, life giver and the keeper of life, the shock of the hour, the mystic vibration. It is a great honor, of course, that we can welcome you and be so cordial within this space and time. Here within the tiger's nest, of course, the shock of the hour. Glorified Kadamawe. Emperor Haile Selassie the First, give thanks for his presence. Mama Menin, Wazira Menin, give thanks for her presence. Father and Mother of creation, spirit and in flesh, give thanks for the presence of life and all that emanate from such life. Give thanks for the sun and the moon and the stars, food and clothing and shelter, and all things visible and invisible. We must be thankful. Give thanks for the giving of thanks. And it is just a great joy. Of course, you know, we definitely take our time each and every evening to go into a subject area that would bring life and, you know, information and inspiration to the people. We are in the realms of what is known as African History Month, or, well, more commonly called Black History Month, which obviously there got to be some difference there. When you say African history, whether you believe the name of the country is really Africa or not, we know what you're talking about when you say Africa. We know where you're talking about when you say Africa. And although I think Africa is a bit more than what we have as Africa today, but still the point is when we say Africa, you know what's up, you know who we're talking about. When you say black, somehow you could exclude Africa, it seems like. And, you know, just isolate it to the 100 great black inventors. Nothing wrong with that. Kind of isolated to the Black Panthers and the Black Power movement and civil rights. I mean, all of that is good to know, but that's just a drop in the bucket of African history. That black history stuff is just remember, we just got the black name the other day, really, you know. And even if you would argue with the term Africa, but the whole dynamic of a unified people is so old that even some of the most intelligent amongst us still have the nerve to say Africa has never been united, when even the Bible makes it clear that Africa was once a united country. And we have already done a program on that, and it is in the archives and you can see it on YouTube. All you have to do is go into our YouTube page and search it out. The Unity of Africa, Africa a United Nation according to the Bible. Clear. So obviously, I mean, your memory is just, it's just a little bit foggy really, that's all. Many of us, we do have amnesia, so you cannot remember the ancient of days when we were ruled by one power and one glory, in one united nation under one banner, as one people, even before anybody else was around. I mean, that is why the Black Christ come and teach us now of our anciency. So people tell you, oh, Africa is not even a country, it's 52 countries, you see, now hear that. Now 10 years ago it wasn't 52, it was maybe 51 or 50, so these people just go with the flow. What about when it wasn't 51 or 52? What about when it was about 30 different countries, but it just split up more and more? What about when it was East Africa and West Africa and that was it? And when it was one country, one government, as it says, from the river Euphrates even to the Great Sea. So there's a oneness in the motherland of Africa. And it has a rich history, a rich culture. And the heritage, not just the history, the heritage now would encompass the different sciences, the different levels of academia, history of course, archaeology and anthropology brings us into the science of chemistry, and physics and biology, and microbiology. And understanding our philosophy carries us into the realms of astrology and astronomy. This is African heritage. So when you speak of the African Heritage Month or African Heritage Week, whatever, but the African heritage and you compare it to Black History Month now, then you can come with, markets, not even Marcus Garvey, because you don't even get none of that too tough in African History Month, especially in the schools, or Black History Month. But you get some Malcolm X, a little Malcolm X, we love the X, but a little Malcolm X and a little Martin Luther King and a little dash of Frederick Douglass and some Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier and what a baseball player there, what the man there that played with baseball there. Your fella there, man. Anyway, but yeah, so that is what you get. The whole science of what
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson, give thanks, right. Jackie Robinson, give thanks to what they did. I ain't got a problem with them. Around here, African History Month, they highlight the Calypsonians, King Shortshirt and Lord this and Lord that, and some of these brothers, actually came out of the Black Power movement and had some level of consciousness in some of their songs, From time to time, we even display them, We don't play them because we don't play, we display, We show you what's really going on. We don't have no time to play. Say no play thing, I hear people say, oh, I ain't playing jazz. You play? I don't play a thing, but it ain't time to play at all. Anything you hear or see me do, I'm extremely serious about it. So I'm just saying now, so it's well watered down. That's the point. The society we live in now can get away with this Black History Month stuff and Black History Month in school and all of that. And when you check and peep the card now, it is a real watered down version of this Black History stuff. Black History Month now is like a pineapple juice that has no pineapple at all. It just has a flavor that was created in a lab to taste like the pineapple. There is nothing taken from the pineapple to make the flavor. It was made with all sort of other stuff, mixed in a beaker and stirred together, that created a taste that tastes like a pineapple. And they put it in a bottle and give it the color of the pineapple, yellow it up, and throw in some fizz in the bottle, and then they put on a label with a pineapple and say this is a pineapple juice or a pineapple soda, when in reality there's no pineapple in it. I'm not lying. You can read the bottle of the soda, so it tells you clearly made with artificial flavors. That's all. There's no real pineapple in it. None whatsoever. You understand? So that pineapple juice with no real pineapple, but has the color of the pineapple and the taste of the pineapple, is similar to the Black History Month, even if you call it African History Month and African History Day and African History this and that, that they're giving to us. It is I'm telling you, well watered down and perfected in its pathetic state to give to the children of the former slaves to continue the process of enslavement. Trust me. Limit you to certain characters, and these certain characters that they limit you to, they don't even tell you the reality about them. Martin Luther King is one of them. Even Nelson Mandela is one of them. Nelson Mandela clearly said, when he saw Haile Selassie I in the 60s, inspecting a black army, a black king inspected a black army, he said he knew for sure that the independence of Africa was secure. That's Nelson Mandela. You ain't gonna hear them say nothing about that. You know, Martin Luther King, the same Martin Luther King says that he was integrating his people into a burning house. And Martin Luther King is the subject for tonight, you know. Oh yeah, man, we're going to be talking about the assassination of Martin Luther King, because as the great Griot said, you know, February, African History Month or Black History Month, aka Martin Luther King Jr. Month, that is just the reality, and there's no disrespect to Martin Luther King, you know. You know, he's one of our aces. Yes, he may have done it a way that I surely wouldn't have done it in my case, and you know, that's all. I mean, everybody, yeah, some people say he was a sellout, some say he was a spy. I mean, certain things I have no evidence of. I mean, straight up, I ain't gonna put my neck on the block for Martin Luther King, for sure, no disrespect, Uncle Martin, but I ain't putting my... But what I delight in Martin Luther King, though, as I said, he himself clearly said, now remember, this is not really in the books, and it's definitely not on the TV screen. It's not in the news, and you ain't gonna get it in the mainstream documentary. But he said, he told Harry Belafonte, I am integrating my people into a burning house. So he understood that the integration process that he was fighting for, you know, was not the reality of it. So I'm showing you. I was reading the book. Hey, where's the book, Honorable Prince? You got the book in there, or it's in the vehicle? No. It's in the vehicle, eh? The book, the Martin Luther King book, the Assassination. Yes. I think it's in the vehicle. Okay, don't worry. Everything is blessed. Anyway, so we were going through this book, The Assassination of Martin Luther King. And I mean, that the book wasn't really going into the depths of the assassination. I'm going to display something for you now that goes into the depths of the assassination of Martin Luther King. But what that book was really saying is that the struggle for equal rights and citizenship, Martin Luther King at the end of his life could look back proudly because of his work after 350 years of struggle for equal rights and citizenship. Now, I was showing even my children, now I said, now you have to be careful now. Look at this trick here. You see that trick? That Martin Luther King, after his great works, you know, he could proudly look back at 350 years of us as a people struggling and fighting for equality and citizenship. That is statistically incorrect. This has nothing to do with my feelings or my philosophy. That is statistically incorrect. In other words, 350 years ago, I am positive we were not fighting for no equality and citizenship at all. What are you talking about? 350 years ago? Equality with who? Maybe they don't understand. The writer of that book maybe kind of misunderstood or misplaced history and its date and time. 350 years ago, brother, we were at the height of our prisoner of war state. This is the time when some of the ignorant would be saying Africans were selling Africans into slavery. This is the time when the whole trade, not trade, but the pathway of the sharks were changing, evolving. You know, the sharks in the Atlantic Ocean, the ships were coming over. The sardine theology, brother. The theory of the sardine, packed like sardine on a ship. And people like to say we were packed like sardine. People don't really understand what that means, you know. When you open a tin of sardine, you know, I know you never opened a tin of sardine, but I have opened several tins. But when you open a tin of sardine, the sardine is not really packed together, you know, they're actually laying on each other slightly. If you look at it good, like this not vertical, not horizontal, what do you call it? Like a 45, somewhere between a 30 to a 45 degree angle, and they lay on each other in this tin. And it was something like that. We were actually on each other in most cases. That's 350 years ago. Many of us don't even know where we're going, what's going on. That's 350 years ago. 250 years ago, that was still going on. We're on the plantation, is robbing and raping, is hanging and lynching, the most brutal of executions, digging hole and putting our body in, and then leaving our head out, and then covering our head with maple syrup and all kind of thing, and setting killer ants on us. Yeah. The sound of the dog, you know, that when you hear dog bark, maybe you see, people don't understand the science, brother. King Emmanuel said no dog around him. Want a pussy cat. 250 years ago, you know, when you hear a dog barking, you know, no, we jump from 350 to 250 now. We're coming up the line. 250 years ago, when you hear a dog barking, it's trouble you in, you know, man. As a so-called slave, you know. When you escape and you get away and you in the forest or the jungle, and you walk into the water and you just know you in some serious trouble. Because the fact that you can hear that, that can smell you. So you better have your game on. So all of a sudden the sound of a dog, okay. But 250 years ago, that was danger. And we were not fighting for no equality with nobody. And we were not fighting for no citizenship. 250 years ago, not even 150 years ago. But it was kind of getting watered down 150 years ago. So maybe 100 years ago to 50 years ago, even 100 years ago, in many cases we were so independent that we were building black wall streets all over the Western world, not just in Oklahoma. It was not just one black wall street, you know. They had black wall streets in Atlanta. Even here in the Caribbean, we had strongholds, communities that we developed our own system. See, like you watch Andy Griffith, Barney and Andy Griffith, and well, you never really watched the Andy Griffith show. In Mayberry, you know, sorry to have to use them as an example, but even for the listeners, you know, we as black people just coming out of slave robbery, we had many towns all over the Caribbean, Guyana, Suriname, Belize, Brazil. It's not just Wall Street, Little Africa, Oklahoma, Tulsa, not just there alone, Canada. And we fortified ourselves and had our own banking system as we did it in Africa, even if it's the Susu or whatever it was, or what we call box. We had this banking system that some of us still practice today. had our own commerce, and traded with others amongst ourselves. That was just the other day. That's 100 years ago. 100 years ago. So somebody started to give us fluoride vaccine and have us drinking the pipe water. So about 50 years ago, we started to talk about citizenship and equal rights with the killer that enslaved us. So when that book said, you see this, so now you as a little student reading this book, feel it's some conscious book about Martin Luther King. And you can see, this is what I'm trying to say. The demon that enslaved us has created an African history, not necessarily curriculum, let's just say unofficial curriculum for the world to suck up and drink through a straw. And at the head of it is Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela. And as I said earlier, a splash of Frederick Douglass and a quick sound bite of Marcus Garvey if you're lucky. And you get if you're lucky. You know, anyway, lucky is the devil, isn't it? Yeah. You know, lucky thing. Anyway, wow. You know I didn't intend to speak that much here. I want to drop this here from RTV, Russian TV, eh? And this is from the Rick Sanchez show. So everybody know Rick Sanchez, you know. Not Sanchez, the reggae singer, Rick Sanchez, you know. And who really killed Martin Luther King? That book that we have, that we got there from the place there. Yeah, Princess book there. It told you about the man that shot him from wherever he shot him, and Jesse Jackson said, hey Doc, and Doc moved. And there's a brother called Stokely Carmike, not Stokely Carmike, pardon me, Steve Coakley, man. Steve Coakley. Coakley, yeah, man. That's one of our brothers. He's an ancestor now, but what he did really, he you know, he's a researcher. Steve Coakley, he's a researcher. And, I mean, I never met him personally, but in the early days when we were just coming into consciousness, you know, we came across some of his videos. And he has a lecture he did about the true assassination of Martin Luther King, and trust me, he don't have Jesse Jackson as no innocent party to this. You know, Jesse Jackson, when Khalid Muhammad asked about me, say Jesse Jackson, I am somebody. I am somebody. I don't really know who I am, but I am somebody. That's Khalid Muhammad. Yeah, so Steve Coakley though clearly says Jesse Jackson. I think he highlights that Jesse Jackson was the only one without a tie or something. I don't want to start to say it and I have it wrong. Maybe I have to revisit the documentary. I cannot really give you the details of that lecture, but I could remember the whole feeling I had watching it a while ago. And I think it's on the YouTube. You could just YouTube it. Steve Coakley, Martin Luther King assassination, and I'm sure it's there somewhere, you know. Okay, so let's listen to this interview done with Rick Sanchez. He's going to explain everything, and we'll just take it from there.
Tonight, our nation celebrates one of its most inspirational leaders and activists by honoring the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. We know all that he came and dealt with racial fairness and lost his life in that fight. But did you know that there are investigations that have gone on about how actually he died? Okay. See, most of us think that we know exactly how he died, how he was shot.
Well, hold on. What Rick trying to do? Cause confusion here. What does Rick Sanchez know? RTV. What does Rick, remember RTV is a credible news agency. You know? This is not a YouTube station, you know. I don't know. RT, yes, people, RTV is just as credible as Al Jazeera. CNN, you just CNN to everything. You CNN and you come to an end, you just see it, CNN and NBC and all of that. They just obviously not towing the line of the regular, you know, the regular. So what is Rick bringing up now that the death of Martin Luther King may be, you know, more than meets the eye?
That there are investigations that have gone on about how actually he died. See, most of us think that we know exactly how he died, how he was shot, and it was an open and shut case. Well, guess what? This is an amazing tale that you're about to hear from Michelle Greenstein about what has been uncovered regarding his death. I'm gonna hand it to you and let you take it away, because in my conversations with you thus far, I have been drop-jawed listening to you.
And so was I. I actually spoke earlier today to Dr. William Pepper. He actually, on behalf of Coretta Scott King and the King family, filed a civil suit in the case of the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. Now, this is the only trial that's ever been held about this assassination, because, as we know, James Earl Ray, after he pled guilty, meant there was no trial. So this is the only trial that's ever been held. Now, we're all familiar with the official story of this lone gunman, right, in 67.
James Earl Ray shot him.
You know, he was in jail for armed robbery. He somehow escaped.
Admitted to it.
Right. But what's interesting is that he pled guilty, but he didn't confess. And actually, in these court transcripts, he says over and over, I did not confess to killing King. And he says he only did so because he feared for his life. He and William Pepper told me that the only reason James pled guilty is because it was the only way to save his life. Now, he did this as a last resort, and he was actually told by his lawyer, Percy Foreman, that he should take the guilty plea because that's how he was going to get a new lawyer. So he saw this as his only way to get rid of this bad lawyer and get a new lawyer. And interestingly enough, he filed for an appeal days afterward and tried to get a new...
Okay. I know she's talking very fast, you know, but I hope you're getting everything there. If not, now is the time to listen keenly.
Trial. So like I said, I spoke to Dr. Pepper earlier today. Here's what he had to say about the way
Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Martin Luther King was actually killed.
Wow.
He wasn't killed from the bullet that hit him on the balcony. He was taken to the St. Joseph's Hospital, and he was killed in the emergency room of St. Joseph's Hospital by the chief of neurosurgery, Dr. Breen Bland, who came in when they were all working on him in the emergency room, and he said, get out of here, let that die. And as they moved out of the room, the last one out was a surgical nurse, Lula Mae Shelby. And when she heard them gathering up spit in their lungs to spit on Martin's body lying on a bed there, then she saw Dr. Bland take the catheters out of Martin's body and take the pillow from under his head and put it over his face and suffocate him. And that's how Martin King died. That's how he was really assassinated. Now, he might have died anyway from the bullet wounds, but he didn't. He was still alive and still breathing. The chief neurosurgeon, he intervened and he made sure that death would result.
Wow. Right? My jaw was on the floor. Now, Dr. Pepper knows this because the son of the nurse, Lula Mae Shelby, who died, but before she died told her family, the son of this nurse told Dr. Pepper under oath. And when Dr. Pepper confronted a member of the Dixie Mafia, he said, yes, this happened, and actually that the chief of surgery was their family doctor, and that 3 weeks before the assassination, he visited them and said, hey, if the bullet doesn't kill him, make sure he goes to St. Joseph's, because we will make sure that he dies. Now, let's talk about this case, okay? This was a civil suit in 1999 where Pepper represented the King family, and that really made the family feel like they had closure, and like I said, it was the only trial ever held. The Memphis jury in this case decided that local, state, and federal governments were liable for King's death, and that this was a real conspiracy, a conspiracy between the U.S. military, the Memphis PD, and Dixie Mafia, these crime figures in Memphis, Tennessee.
This is just for the audience.
Right.
This is a civil case that was brought, much like the O.J. case,
right, where
they couldn't find him guilty here, but finally when a civil jury heard it, they came out with a
It was the only trial, yes, and there was 30 days of trial, and over 70 witnesses were heard. And Dr. Pepper told me earlier today that it took the jury less than an hour to decide after these 30 days
that this
of
was
trial.
a true conspiracy.
Correct.
Where others may have been involved.
Correct.
Other than the person who was accused.
And that James Earl Ray was the fall man, and that he was unwittingly, unknowingly part of this conspiracy. And the real shooter, I gotta say this even though we can't get to the whole story, was Frank Strouser. He was a Memphis police officer, the best shot in the Memphis PD, and he was the one who actually fired the fatal shot.
Hey.
This is some fun stuff, isn't it? This is fun. Yeah. Now, if you have this on a recording, you could just replay it. And of course, so what I'm saying, okay, we depend on the news for information. A lot of people are not aware that the news is well rigged. The news deadly. This news thing is a big part. News is as bad as religion and stuff. News, you gotta be careful. North, east, west, and south, NEWS news. News is just as bad as any sort of mind-bending psychological, confusion out there. News is the media, and in many cases, news is not something that is not really lie. It tells you of events and what is taking place, but depending on where the news is coming from, and usually the news that we get, it's all coming from the same place. It is screwed and conscrewed to develop a pattern of thinking in the mind of the listener, the audience. So some of us will live on news. So even here in the Caribbean, in Antigua, we get our little local news, yeah? But then we do get international news, and the people that give us the international news from our local radio stations and television stations, all they're doing is regurgitating the news that comes from BBC, CNN, and Sky, Fox, and Wolf, and the rest of them. So the news itself is very dangerous. A lie. Telling the truth, but it mixed up with some lies. You know what I mean? So, yeah, man. So you'll hear, a bomb was dropped in Iraq and 33 people died. And yeah, maybe a bomb was dropped, maybe. And maybe it's more than 33 that died. And maybe who they say dropped the bomb is not they really dropped the bomb. And sometimes they just be pretending to be who they say dropped the bomb so other people can react. They're good at that. Somebody walked into a restaurant and blew it up. So that gives them a reason to go and start to shoot down the place because other terrorists might be around. But they were the one that sent the person in there to blow up themselves so they could have a reason to come and shoot up the place. Don't tell me I don't know what I'm saying. September the 11th, 2001. September the 11th in plain sight. Do we need to go over that? So we know the enemy that we're dealing with. It is sad that we have to see so many things to at least understand the enemy that we're dealing with. To me, 9/11 alone, that alone, from you can understand the mix-up of that and how many holes are in that. All you need to do is see the holes. You don't even have to come to know definite conclusion. All you have to do is see the holes. The Pentagon alone flipped the script. Where the plane that run in the Pentagon. That alone just done the whole story. Where's the plane? I mean, where's the plane? I mean, come on, give me a break. Where's the plane? No wings, nothing. Where's the plane? And we as mature people, some of us graduate from college and degrees all over the world. How much people on the earth? 8 billion. You mean to say we all fall for this? All of us? Nobody, all of us fall for this? Oh my, it make me want to cry. All of us fall for this. September 11, we see a plane, a big old plane run into the Pentagon and leave a little hole 18 feet across and 18 feet horizontal and vertical, 18 feet, a little hole before the top collapsed, 18 feet, grass and flowers still on the ground. When the plane was 4 feet off the ground, a plane or 757, one of them things, man. Give me a break. Give me a break. I mean, that hurt me. Trust me, look, not because I'm talking about it, When you hear me speak of these things, it get to me. I wonder where we are, what, how we think, how you feel when you fly a plane next time. You just go on a plane and just strap the seatbelt. You never meditate, what stunt they may be up to today. They like to tell you plane disappeared. This Malaysia flight, this and that, and this just disappeared. Because my theory is, number one, if that plane did not run into the Pentagon, which it did not, come on, who can prove that? Who is the man that can prove that? Come on, man. And the whole world just swallow this like if it's aspirin. Eh? if the plane didn't run into the Pentagon, where the plane really is. The so-called plane that crashed in Pennsylvania, that's the next Google. Not Google, but Googly. Yeah. The first time ever in history, that is pure records break that day, pure records breaking. Never seen. First time a plane ever crashed and you cannot find no part of the plane. That's the one in Pennsylvania. You just leave a little hole. The first time in history a plane ever crashed, and a plane of that size and magnitude, not no little sandpiper, you know. A big 757 or 747, what it is, big jumbo jet, man. Crash, bang, 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 and you can't find nothing. Not even a person. Nothing. Yeah, boy, just leave me alone. Record. The first time in history that a steel building ever fall because of fire. Never happened. It only happened one time in history. And it happened to 3 buildings on the same day. On September 11, 2001. Building 1 and Building 2 and Building 7. The 3 of them fall. Demolition style the same day. And the reason for them falling was not because of demolition, it was because of fire. Officially, that's the reason. And that never happened in history. Never. It's never happened before, and up to now it can't happen again. Never. So what's so special about these 3 buildings? That fire could bring them down. And they were built, listen to this now, they were built not only to withstand fire, but to withstand an airplane collision. And yet still they come down. What? They lie, nothing goes so. So 2 planes for sure went missing. And then the 2 planes that ran into the building, although, as I said in the documentary I did on 9/11, the point is that I like to stay in my lane. And I cannot, although I've seen documentaries like Phil Valentine did a wonderful documentary. I'm still talking about Martin Luther King, you know. Oh. Phil Valentine did a wonderful documentary where he was highlighting that the plane was a hologram. Okay, that's interesting. But even when the documentary in plain sight clearly highlights that there was some sort of bomb attached to the fuselage. And yeah, man, that's clear. And the reports, there were so many reports of people saying, we should watch that maybe tonight. Tonight is your turn to choose a movie, right? Okay. When it's my turn to choose a movie, we're going to watch it plain sight. And there's so many people saying, hey, I saw a big green plane, and that wasn't American airline. That was not an American airline. Because remember, this was a fresh thing. So we could clearly say 3 planes were not the planes that they say were the planes that were hijacked and run into the building, Pentagon, and crashed in Pennsylvania. So where are these planes? The reason why I say all of this, right, and believe me, this is not the last time you will hear me use 9/11 as an example. The point I'm making is, and I don't have to go for no other example, that is just to show you and to show everybody in the world who we are up against. Remember this? Remember, we're on a little ball, this little earth, and even if you think it's flat, it ain't too big. The borders are not too far. You can go around it in a couple hours right now. We're sure that it's not no grand place. It's big, but it's not big. We're all connected through technology, internet, phone calls. We're all connected right now. Airport flights. So in a second, if they want to attack you, people can press bombs and sink islands. That's where we are right now. Nobody can tell me I'm lying. And to live in an environment so dangerous, this more dangerous than any street or any back alley that people like to say is such a dangerous place. Just the planet alone is a back alley, brother. Especially when they're standing up for righteousness. Hear all what I say here. Take somebody listening to me saying, this man like he getting out of hand now. Come on, of course. It takes something to continue this, man. Trust me. Especially when, in a sense, you don't really have to. I'm talking about myself. There ain't no great need. The only need that I am doing this really is the need to see my people wake up and to, you know me, gravitate to a higher level of thinking and being. You know, trust me. Because this is dangerous stuff, what we doing here. I'm telling you, this is dangerous stuff. From you can influence people with your mouth, and then especially if you're doing something with your hands, and they can say, but look, you're doing this, and oh Lord, it get worse. This is dangerous stuff. People have families in these planes, and them planes don't crash in no building, and they don't drop on no floor, and they don't run in no plenty gun. Where the plane them be? Come on, man. It's so soft y'all be, man. We are some real rabbit hearts, brother. I don't know, man. It hurt me, man. We not ready yet. They can do us anything. Look how we just there. We are some soggy people, brother. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, you know. I can go down the line. And how this wolf man deal with us. All them weasel activities that they carry on with and pretend. So Martin Luther King now, according to Dr. Pepper, was smothered with a pillow in the hospital. A lot of names were called. I can't remember all the names. You can listen this over again and you can get it for yourself. But the lady that was interviewed by Rick Sanchez, she basically highlighted, everybody that was in the room and how they spat on Martin Luther King, and the head surgeon said, "This beep must die." And he was the one that suffocated him with the pillow. And, as I said, they spat on him, and the nurse was the last one to leave the room. And the man that was accused, he got 99 years, by the way. He's still in jail, serving his 99 years. Can you imagine that? I'm sure he's having a blast in jail. Yeah, come on, man. He pleaded guilty, but he continually said he never confessed to killing him. I don't really know what that means. Maybe you gotta explain that to me legally. But the point is that, even the lady here that was interviewed now is saying the name of the Marx official police officer that fired the fatal shot that wounded Dr. Martin Luther King. And it wasn't James Earl Jones or whatever the man name that they say shot Martin Luther King. Wow. Yeah. You get into President Kennedy's story, similar vibes, just similar vibes. This is the wild, wild west. See, we like this in slavery never done and slavery never done. See them John Wayne movies, them things never done. We still in Dodge City. We still the Sundance Kid business. Marshall McDillan, Lone Ranger. That's what's going on now. This is the wild, wild west. Miss Kitty and Yosemite Sam. You know what I mean? People just gun you down when they don't want you in town. They're not even calling for no duel. They just, send a man for you and you're out. People don't hear from you again. And just like as I said when they crucified Christ, nobody could do nothing. Yeah, Peter jumped up like if he was a bad man, but he didn't understand that it was not time. And when it really got thick, he actually denied the Christ 3 times. And if Peter can deny the Christ 3 times, well, and he's the baddest of the bad, and he denied the Christ 3 times. It happened all the time. When they deport Marcus Garvey, thousands of people on the pier, blowing their nose in the handkerchief and when they coming back, Garvey? When they coming back? When they coming back? I mean, like, wow, give me a break. And remember Mother Moore, you know. Mother Moore, Queen Mother Moore, said that a time Garvey was on a, what they call it, a soapbox giving a lecture in Harlem. And the police pull up. And they threatened him, I think, with deportation there too. And said that if he don't stop talking, they're going to send him back to Jamaica or some kind of thing like that. And Queen Mother Moore said that the sisters were so strong around the mighty prophet Marcus Garvey that they actually formed a circle around him. And they all went into their bosom. You know what I call bosom? They went into between their breasts. And they all pulled out pistols, guns. That's what Queen Mother Moore said. And they shouted out, "Speak, Garvey, speak." Garvey continued and said, as I was saying, and the police them just stick around for a while and then moved on. Now that's just a few women. Few, I don't know, but a few just circle the guard and pull out the guns. And them crackers back off. Yeah. So when they were deported him and thousands of people ran down to the pier, that's what the old people said. And we ran down to the pier to see Garvey and to say goodbye one last time. I'm going to say, what is this? What kind of punky thing is this? As if the war over, like it was a game. As if it was a joke, it was just show and tell. Not understanding that this was a liberation towards Africa. Some of us as Rastafari, Bobo Shanti, is the same way we treat King Emmanuel thing. As if the African mission, you know, we go and sleep on the reparation. Now, you know, we even remember that repatriation is a part of the whole thing. Not even a part. First and foremost, you understand? You see? So that's it. So when they're ready to gun down anybody, just make up in mind that you're going to be a name in remembrance. That's all. A Martin Luther King, and they just fix you up and make it look like if you were the softest ice cream in the fridge, and you know when you still had things about you. The night before he got killed, you know, the night before he got killed, he was clearly showing them that they need the boycott Wonder Bread, boycott Coca-Cola. I think that was the red button he pressed to. You check it? Coca-Cola, you know. That's what he said the night before, boycott Coca-Cola. And you hear who's spilling the beans now? Dr. Pepper. But Dr. Pepper is a soda, it's Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola, and Pepsi. You check it? And Pepsi is, some say Pepsi and Coke ain't no different. I don't know right now, but the point is, and Dr. Pepper, Godzilla used to be Dr. Pepper's mascot. So now, he telling to boycott Coca-Cola, and here you have on the news now the woman telling you, well, Dr. Pepper is the one, the lawyer for, you know, Dr. Pepper spilling all the beans, telling you exactly who it was that smothered or suffocated Martin Luther King, and who the nurse was in the room, and exactly how it was done, and everything that was said, and exactly who shot Martin Luther King. And as I said, when you return to Steve Coakley's lecture, and you place it even with this, you could see this is pure setup, real big time setup. It's not no lone crazy man, and you see that? Even the Boston Marathon and these different little things that you see taking place today, and these lone killers that go into the Emmanuel Church and so in name Rufa, whatever the brother name, not brother, but the fella that went into the black church and killed about 7 people. I think I think it's Ruffy's name is. You understand? These people are not acting by themselves. That's why when the police come to arrest them, they always just put them in handcuffs. Just the other day, this weirdo kill his girlfriend, kill his girlfriend's parents, drive 30 miles, kill his parents. I was on his way to kill his grandmother. And I think he's about 17 years old, right in America. just about 2 weeks ago the most. And when the police them caught him, you know the news report said he looked tired and wanted to rest or famished or something. I say hear them talking. And they just bring him out in handcuffs and you know. Now if they stop a black man for breaking a red light, they drag him out the car, you know what I mean, have him on the floor, you know what I mean, hand behind his back, bawling in his face. They might kill him for that too. But when a white youth or even a white man go on a rampage, even if he kill his own, they deal with him differently. And you see that all the time. You know, so that's just a culture, man. That try to change that, man. That's what built America. I don't know on earth you expect that to change. That's how they stay. You understand? So they get rid of anybody that look like them is a threat. Or at least they try. You have to be really shrewd and have the power of the Almighty backing you. Yeah, the word. Subscribe to the Mystic Vibrations Shock of the Hour program today and never miss another episode. The Shock of the Hour is a Radio Anu exclusive program produced every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday. By now I am sure that you are aware that all our programs are packed with information, inspiration, mystic vibrations, as well as hot button topics. Every evening we enter into a different dimension, even if it is a part 2 of the previous program, whether it's history or mystery, biology or philosophy, domestic affairs or the locks of your hair. The mystic vibration is sure to bring something new and interesting to the table every evening. So never miss another episode again. Subscribe to the Shock of the Hour now. And don't forget your key Swahili word of the day and your daily scientific fact. So, to subscribe, give us an email, priestisaac27@gmail.com, or call or WhatsApp us today. Area code 1268-728-3162. The Shock of the Hour. Never miss another program. And a special note to all our new subscribers. All our new subscribers will receive a special copy of the DVD documentary, full length, The Night of the Black Tiger, The Divinity of Marcus Messiah God.